Good day, everyone. Welcome to Awaken 24 podcast. I'm your host, Eric Oliva. How are you on this beautiful day? It's any day that you're hearing this, it's the greatest day of your life. So, in this morning, in this day, what did you do to prep yourself? What did you do to make everything you're going to take on become all in your hands? Stay in the driver's seat, manipulate, push, move. What did you say to yourself this morning? See, the night before this podcast, I was talking to my son, and we were going to bed, and I was telling him, look, I do this every morning, right when the alarm wakes me up, or if I wake up before the alarm. I set my stage. And he goes, the hell are you talking about? He's 6 years old, right? He's like, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, when I open my eyes, or when I'm just about to open my eyes, I know I'm getting up for the day. I tell myself, this is my day. I got this shit. This is mine. I own this shit. Like, I get up knowing that the momentum of the thoughts that I've put in my head to steer me in the direction I want to go, not just towards my goals, but for my every single step leading up to the ability and the push of making my life experience as I want my life experience. He goes, oh. So basically, I wake up in the morning, and this is what I do. I wake up in the morning, and before I move out of bed, before I move my head off the pillow, I smile in my mind, because that's another day that I get to do and make my experience as I want it. So, despite any type of experiences that will come up, despite anything I think through a habitual cycle of emotional, mental imagery, emotional feel, I put in my head, regardless of all that, put in my head, this is how I want to be. I need to be strict with my thinking. And it doesn't mean that you're so in control and you have everything on a leash and you're very rigid. No. Because we have this weird idea about control, that it is evil. Just let everything go and let everything move. No, don't let everything go and let everything move. You want to know why? Because it'll move according to what habit thinking you have. It'll stay as a cycle. So we're going to break our cycles of thinking that disempower us. What disempowers you? When you wake up in the morning, either you have the cyclic thinking of, oh shit, another day. Oh, I got to go back to the office. Oh, I got to go back to work. Oh, I got to go drive. Oh, the traffic. Oh, this, oh, that. And we sit there rummaging in our head all these thoughts. And you know what that does? It like zaps the shit out of you. Who wants to sit in traffic? Right? All these experiences are actually influential if you empower it to be the way you assume. What I mean is, sitting in traffic, if that's what you're looking at, that's what you're looking forward to, not like excited or, not like excited to go into, but looking at this is what I will be experiencing. And then you have these cyclic thoughts of, oh shit, the frustration, the slow moving, I got to get to where I got to go, another hour in traffic, another 2 hours in traffic, or as long as you stay in traffic. And you just build up these sick thoughts of how you have to react to it with stress and frustration and anxiety. You're going to literally experience any of those in any combination as intense as you can make it. That is cyclic thinking. Habitual cycles of emotion and thought. So in the morning, despite any type of experience that I was so used to expecting, and then putting on the expected thoughts or the habit thoughts of those experiences that didn't even happen yet for that day, despite all that, I know, okay, these things could or could not occur. If I continue to build up the momentum of this type of frustrated habitual thinking, or whatever kind of habitual thinking you want to call it, I'm going to just zap the shit out of myself. And why would anyone want to get out of bed? I don't want to do anything. And then you go into this negative self-talk, and you go into that builds up into going towards the automatic negative thinking. what I do is, despite all that, I go, this is mine. This is my day. This is my effort. This is my life experience. So it doesn't matter what the hell's going on inside, in my mind, in my energy, in my body. I'm not going to allow any other type of influence to change what I want to see the world as. Now, some people choose to see the world as doom and gloom. Some choose to see the world as awesome positivity. And some choose to live in a delusion. I'm not talking of any of those three. I'm talking about how I want to make this world be according to me. If I want it to be frustrated and angry, well then, what the hell am I doing to myself? I'm poisoning myself. If I want it to be ultra positive, I have to make sure that my actions match it or I'm deluded. So, let's give these examples step by step. For me, I wake up in the morning, get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, do the thing, make coffee, sit about 10 minutes while the coffee's percolating, and then start drinking my coffee. And then after that, it's about a half hour I've given myself. I listen to a podcast throughout that time. And, according to how I want to direct my attention to the day and for my own personal development, usually it's Tom Bilyeu, sometimes Tony Robbins, sometimes Gary Vee, and Mel Robbins, something like that. I just like to hear insight of other people, and then the people that they interview, and get different insights and direction as to where I want to put my power today, so I can fulfill any type of goal I set, or any type of direction I wish to experience or go into. By 6:30, this is usually about 5:30 to 6 or 6 to 6:30, depending on when I decide I want to wake up, or before or after my alarm, right? So my son gets up, and then I start to make breakfast, and that's the morning routine. Make breakfast, get his clothes ready, get my clothes ready, 7:30 out the door. Have a 45-minute travel to take him to school, and either I go to work, if it's that day I go to work to teach Mandarin, or I go back home, or I go on the boardwalk at the beach and I do a little practice, do a little recording, speak a podcast, and whatever. So that's generally my morning experience. For that first 3 hours of the day, I know that there are certain things, situations that will occur. Getting in the car, driving to the school, hitting some traffic, sitting, usually it should be a 30-minute drive, usually 45 minutes to almost an hour drive, sometimes a little longer if there's a little traffic, taking 3 of the same roads I take, which would make my travel a little bit less trafficy, and then drop them off, and then if I don't have coffee, I go get another coffee, or I'll sit in my car and I'll read a little bit, do a podcast, post some content, and then go about the rest of my day with errands and website prep and development, and more content for what I'm developing for my business and whatever. Okay? That's what to expect almost every day, every other day of my personal experience for the first 3 hours to the following 6 hours. And then later on in the day, it's if I'm not teaching, or if I'm not treating any clients or coaching anyone on the phone, through email, and or doing anything else, then it's pick them up, go home, chill for a half hour after we get home, prepare the dinner, or help my wife prepare dinner, do a little cleaning, get them to bed by 8:30, do a little editing on articles from my teacher, and then go to bed by 10:30, 11 o'clock, sometimes 12:30. And if I have an extra hour in between that, before 12:30, I will watch a video. So I'm doing a lot of other stuff throughout the day, and then I'll see if maybe I will watch a TV show, some sci-fi stuff. And that's basically how I go. And I don't do the sci-fi movie stuff every day, but it's more like maybe once a week I'll give myself an hour, or twice a week give myself an hour. If I have any downtime and I'm really like, okay, I accomplished a certain amount of content, I said what I wanted to say, then I'll just go about taking a break in my car, watch a movie, because I'll have that extra time, and I already pushed a lot of activity, so I have a downtime for myself, or I'll read, whatever. So the entertainment side varies, either from reading to meditating to taking a power nap, a half hour power nap, 20 minutes, whatever, and or taking a walk on the boardwalk where our school is. So Now you got the gist of what my day is like, and I'm looking at it going, oh shit, wow, that's a lot of stuff. In that, I know what's going to be occurring, but how many of us can actually keep our head, our mind, our emotions, our thoughts so focused on not letting negative self-talk enter? How many of us? You see, when I wake up in that morning, I tell myself, this is my day. Every day is my day. I'm not going to be frowning. I'm not going to be depressed. I'm not going to be sad. I'm not going to be anxious. I'm not going to be worried. I'm not going to get angry. Maybe a little bit of frustration here and there, but then you catch it right away. But what I refuse to do is go back to the state of negative self-talk. And I catch myself when I do automatic negative thinking. And get this, I also catch myself when I get those instances of memory that I had attached to years ago that paint this picture of how I'm supposed to be, or who the people I valued influenced my life and how I wanted to become a little bit like them, or take a little bit of their skill set or personality or demeanor and integrate into my life, and identify that as a self, as a part of myself. So I catch those things. And when you start catching them, their influence, their strength becomes a little less and less. Now, most people sit there thinking, when they have a memory about something, person, or place, they usually react as though it is them. It is how they are. That is how life is for them. Actually, it is just a cycle of memory. It is just something that influenced you at that time. Let's say it's in this present time, and brought back in a memory, which gives you that feeling, okay, the emotion to that memory, and then your story, your personal story about who you are because of that situation. I catch those things because of consistent self-introspection. I'm able to see what I used to and what I do attach to, put my attention to and value. That's what attachment is, attention and value. Okay. And then what story, what perspective I hold of myself because of those things. I catch it. I stop. I remind myself this is a cycle of memory. This is a habitual cycle of thinking, emotion, and self-view. So it's perspective, right? So emotion, a cycle of emotion, cycle of self-view or perspective. And I stop it because I remind myself of it. And then I replace it. No, that's not me. I know it's not me. I've experienced that 10 years ago, 15, or however long ago it was. That is no longer the condition and the situation at hand. And then you start to feel that sense of freedom because I don't have those anxieties to it. I don't have those expectations to it. I don't have those worries. I don't have those joys. I don't have those sadnesses based on those conditions or whatever emotional experience you had towards those. That's an amazing thing because every day you start free. When you can break your habitual thinking cycle, you feel a sense of renewal. And then you start to have that momentum to build up to a sense of every single day is literally a new pair of clothes. That in itself, that optimism, that state of seeing things utterly clear is powerful. In that you have a board, a clean board, okay? A clean board that you can just start writing a new script for every single day. And you do it the first few seconds you wake up. So what I tell myself in the morning when I wake up, I remind myself, new day, my shit, I'm awesome, this is how I'm going to take it. And I don't have to go through a whole entire bullet point, list in my head of how I'm going to go about the day. I just tell myself that one thing. My day, I'm doing it my way. It sounds stupid and cliche, and I rhymed, but it is so powerful to let you know that your experience every day is in your control. Anyone can throw up negative talk towards you, doubt you, try to make you feel like crap, but the only way they can make you feel like crap is if you value and you put your attention to their words. Now, someone's saying negative things to you, if it happens to be true, change it. Change your actions in your mind, in your body, okay, and in your speaking. Change your actions in these three areas. Then that thing will no longer be true. Why would you get upset? If someone says to me, Eric, you're an asshole, probably right. Probably an asshole too. Okay. Now, it says here an answer because you said A, B, C, and D. Like, actually, I did not say those things, or what you assume was my meaning was not, and here's my explanation. If the person doesn't want to hear your explanation, you're not making an excuse. You're just saying, I'm sorry, that shit bothered you, but this is really what I was going for. And if they can't accept that and they still call you an asshole, well, then that's their problem. The fact is, if you're so sure that you did not mean or choose to make anyone's life difficult, and people are pushing you as though you are doing that, and you truly know, honestly know, that is not the case, well then move on, my friends, move on, because none of that shit is important. But if it so happens that you are the jerk and you did make this, and your intention was to make someone's life feel like shit and miserable or whatever, change your actions, change those things, because that sucks. Truthfully. So this is to set the stage for you every morning. My point is, you wake up in that morning, tell yourself this is your day. And in the beginning, when you start doing this, you're going to be like, oh God, this positive thinking and reinforcement is so much bullshit. It is bullshit if you don't do anything. You can rah-rah yourself to fucking, kingdom come. However, if you're not taking action to make that strong in your life, to actually be able to build the skill to pull the strings of every single aspect of your emotion and your thought to an extremely degree, basically to be in the manual drive instead of automatic drive state of your life, well then, if you are not doing the action, your positive thinking just washes away like a shower. That nice shower you take for 5 minutes or 20 minutes, and then after that, 10 minutes later, you're like, you want that effervescent feeling to last all of the time. And you can be in a state of, well, people have called it bliss and then sold it, but I'm not going to use the word bliss. You can be in a state of just consistent happiness. And it's going to go up and down. It's not going to be like high state of happiness, but you're not going to negative self-talk the shit out of yourself. That's what I mean. Like, why break yourself down and be in a state of self-defeat? So in that morning, you wake up, your day, you tell yourself, my day, I'm doing it this way. And based on your goals, you do according to that. Okay? That's it. So friggin' simple, but it doesn't start simple. It starts like a fucking mountain you gotta climb. And the fact is, if you've never done that before and really applied technique to keep that happening, that manual drive state, that I'm putting the pieces together in my way kind of attitude, and changing your negative self-talk and your automatic negative thinking towards a positive self-talk and consistent manual positive thinking and action, well then, that's it. So do the thinking, do the action to fortify that state, and it will become consistent, and you will not feel like you're climbing a damn mountain to just get to the peak of your happiness, and then all of a sudden it just disappears. You want to make this a habit, the cycle of negative thinking versus the cycle of positive thinking. Make your efforts so damn strong that you don't have to coax yourself, or you don't have to do a method of positive thinking and positive action. This shit becomes your norm. Okay? So, yes, positive, positive, positive. And any adversity is only influential negatively if you value it that way, if you see it that way. Oh, this person hit my car, that son of a bitch, blah, 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 blah. They should have been watching, but, well, you should have been watching too. Sometimes shit happens out of the blue. You are not in control of that. What do you do with it? Simple. You sit there and go, okay, that happened. How do I get right to the issue? See, I'll tell you a little story. Maybe about 3 weeks ago, I was coming home from the city, taking the Staten Island ferry, from Manhattan ferry to Staten Island, and got in my car and I was like, I'm going to take the highway home, get home in 20 minutes, instead of taking the streets and get home about 35 minutes, 40 minutes. So it's nighttime. I'm not really too familiar with the area, but I generally know where the on-ramp is to the highway. I missed the turn, and I'm wondering, wait a second, I'm starting to feel like I'm going a little too far for where I started, and I probably missed my turn. If I put on GPS and go back, I'm probably going to waste another 5 to 10 minutes. I'd rather not. So I'll just go straight and turn up and just keep going until I get to the main road and just take that. And it'll take me 35, 40 minutes. I get to the corner of my house. My car breaks down. The transmission, axle, whatever it was, snapped in two. The car did not move. Everything was screeching and screaming. My car was like, F you son of a bitch. You ain't going anywhere. Excuse me. And I'm like, in that moment that I heard that crack, I put the car in park, shut it off, opened the door, looked, and I went, all right, I got to push. Because any other thought will just waste my time, build up a negative thinking towards a situation, because the situation is what it is. We add it. We add to it. We write the script of how we're going to experience the situation. And if you don't write the script manually, you're doing it automatic based on what you prefer. And then your expectations come in and you're sitting there going, fuck, my car's broken. What am I going to do? I can't get to work. I can't do this. I can't do that. Everyone relies on me. Oh my God, life is over, blah, blah, blah. We have no money to fix the car and we're stuck and we already don't have that much money, blah, blah, blah. I could have went through all these thinking. But the action every day of changing how I see things, changing the idea of expectation, throwing that shit in the garbage, and putting the idea of expectation on how I am going to act. Not on what's going to happen to me, but how I'm going to happen to it. So I got out of the car and I'm looking, and the guy across the street goes, that sounds like your transmission just busted. I'm like, probably so. I have no clue. So I'm looking, I turn the car on, the car won't move. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start pushing. I start pushing. I can't move this car because it's on a slope. Two guys pop out of nowhere. It's like they came out of my exhaust system. They just popped out of nowhere and like, hey, you need help? I was like, yes, I need some help. And they pushed me onto the gas station as far as we can go. And I call up the house and I said, look, you got to come over and help me push this car to the other side of the gas station where the mechanic is. So what I hear is the negative situational talk of my father. Oh, that sucks. What the fuck? This shit is crazy. Everything, blah, 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 blah. Like the world is coming to an end because he drives, and every time the car breaks, it's basically his job that gets influenced and put on hold. So he's in this negative. I said, stop. All I need is you, if you can, come out and help me push my car with your car. He's like, all right, yeah. I cut it right off. So I'm not angry anymore, and I'm not even frustrated. I'm more disappointed that my car broke, but then that lasted only a few seconds. Call my wife, tell her the same thing, and she goes, oh man, all right. So I get the car across the street, leave it for the mechanic, and for about 2 hours that evening, the negative situational talk from both. Okay, my father and my wife. My father is, oh man, the car this, the car that, this is fucked up and blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there just like observing it and taking it in like, not seeing it as that's right. I'm seeing it as, why are they like that? Then, of course, my wife, rightly so, says, every time we are getting ourselves up one in our life, financially and work-wise and project-wise, some nasty shit just happens and fucks it all up, and she's getting really down. And I'm like, look, it's okay. And I observed that, and I thought to myself, I would have thought like that too. This was about a month ago. I would have thought like this about a few weeks prior. I said, it's cyclical situation. These things are happening because of certain decisions that, we did not take, and that's it. But I looked at her, I said, I was about to go on the highway, and at the high speeds I was in, and the stopping and going and the slowing and speeding, this had a high probability of braking on the highway. And if it did, I would be stuck in the middle of the highway where cars are speeding by, and since it's nighttime, the possibility of them recognizing how slow I'm going or had come to a full stop would be very, very low. I would probably have gotten into a worse car accident. So I look at it from the perspective of, I'd rather be on the street than be on the highway, because I stand a more of a chance of getting into a major car accident on the highway than I would on the street. Lo and behold, on the street, people stopped, and I guided them around me while I was figuring how I'm going to push this car. And then some people asked if I needed help. Two people actually came around and helped me. And I basically survived. So I looked at it as I could have been on the highway, got into a car accident, died, or been hospitalized, and everyone will be like, shit, what are we going to do? I would have probably been like, I should have just went on the streets and drove the car, right? Okay, should have, would have, could have, that. And so that was my outlook. I didn't take the highway. I didn't die. I didn't get into anything other major car accident or any other major issue. One up for me. So like, well, this car, fixed transmission is going to be really expensive. I said, nah, it's going to be fine. And the reason why I said, nah, it's going to be fine is because whatever it is, that's just what it is. Why am I going to add to making it more? Like, if I put my expectations on the situation and I really, really attach and value what I hope or what I wish to happen, and when it doesn't happen, get pissed off, I do it to myself. Right? So on that time, the next morning, I brought it over. The guy's like, well, we're gonna take a look at it, whatever. He calls me later. He goes, I walk over, and he's like, well, I ordered a part to try. If it works, great. I think it's 80% this problem. I said, well, how much is the part? And he's like, $280, $250, $280. I'm like, oh, okay. I get paid that day, so I'll be able to pay for it. Woohoo! Right? Then hours later, he goes, yeah, the car's fixed. It was this axle, and that was it. So car was $280. We paid for it, and then that was it. Car's working fine. So I'm using this as an example that shit happens only if we value that situation as shit happening. Basically, we mark things into my benefit and not my benefit, and then we get pissed off when it's not your benefit or my benefit, and then we are happy when it's my benefit, right? So when it's for your happiness and benefit, you're good. When it's not, you're sad. Instead of being sad, why not say this shit is happening, this stuff is occurring, what is the solution? Be solution based. Be ready for the next. That's it. You don't have to sit there thinking, well, if my car breaks down, I can do A, B, C, and D. No, you don't have to do that. Just set the cycle of positive, influential thinking. Positive, influential thinking. Pit. Kidding. Just set that specific cycle up by building it up slowly every day. When you start to defeat yourself among certain things, start doing the opposite about those things. Act differently. Do a small different thing towards that situation, and you will begin to experience it differently. And your mind changes, your thoughts change, your emotions change, your activity changes, your whole demeanor changes. That's what I'm talking about. Set your day straight in the very beginning of the day. My fucking day, doing it my way. Shit is mine, baby. And then you just hop out of bed. You got to do that anyway. So why don't you just do it? Stop with the emotional garbage and throwing it on top of it. Just get up and fucking do your day. Because it's yours, man. It's all in your hands. The power is in there. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, have a lovely, lovely Friday. Be well, be beautiful, be awesome. Love ya.